This is not exactly how they did it, but I'd like to make the numbers simple and easy for us to compute in our head. So let's say that they had 20,000 of these patients over the last couple of decades. And they're going to break them into 20 groups of 1,000 each. Okay? Now, each group of 1,000, and when I say break them into, I mean randomly break them into. You randomly distribute into 20 groups. Then you take a group, one of those groups of 1,000, and you randomly break it into 2 groups of 500. Okay? And you do that then for each of these 20 groups. Now, what they did then is they prayed and used their intent to make the experimental group, which is one of the groups of 500, healthier, feel better. And they used the other as just a control group. They didn't do anything to that group. They just let them be. Now, what they found out is that they could actually shorten the hospital stay, the average hospital stay, for the group that they applied their intent to. And they shortened that hospital stay by an amount that's called statistically significant, which means the chance that it happened just on a fluke is about maybe 2 or 3%, 5%. Usually it's like a 90%, 95% statistic that you have to beat to be called statistically significant. So anyway, they did that. Now that's not that amazing because strange things happen all the time, right? In 3 sigma events, maybe that doesn't mean much to you. Strange events, unusual events, improbable events happen all the time. But what was really amazing is that they did that in all 20 groups. And all 20 groups had shorter hospital stays than the control group. Now you've done something really amazing, right? That's like flipping a coin 20 times and getting 20 heads. Hard to do, about 1 in a million. And this is what happened. So this raised a big stir, and these things were repeated in many ways. The science guys get into it, and they did it more with technology. They had a Geiger counter, and 2 Geiger counters on either side of a radioactive source. Radioactive source now will decay in any random direction. So each of these Geiger counters over time should have about the same number of counts on them. And depending on how long you let it count, maybe they count 100,000 counts each or something, they know about what the statistics should be. Then they'd get the data to a group, apply their intent to make one of these Geiger counters have more counts in it than the other by something that was statistically significant. You expect to have maybe a little bit of difference, so they know when you've gone past what is likely to happen. And they found that people could do that. They could make the right Geiger counter have statistically significant more counts or less counts. Didn't matter which. They did it with random number generators, create a bunch of random numbers. Well, this bunch of random numbers, what's its average? What's this? Compare them. Intent could make this average basically bias higher or lower. And again, any one thing wasn't that startling because odd things happen. But when you do it over and over and over again consistently, you see they should be some of them higher, some of them lower, but they were all the way they're supposed to be. Okay, this is called backward causality because how is it that today you can shorten the hospital stay of people who got out of the hospital 10 years ago? See? Oh, gee, that's tough, isn't it? I mean, how do you explain that one? They're already done. I mean, they got out of the hospital, but this group of people who got out of the hospital 10 years ago had better health because these people used their focused intent. So that's where this idea of backward causality comes from.